Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy, Sports and Fitness Rants? I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, man. Got another great video for you guys today, as usual, man. You guys know the deal on this channel. It's all about setting the record straight, stopping the lies, stopping the narratives, stopping them from rewriting history, guys, and holding the standard. And in this video, we're going to talk about this clown, Ja Morant, this wannabe gangster, this wannabe thug, just a stupid dude, man. Just a stupid dude, man. That's the simplest way I could put it. He's just stupid, man. Just a dummy. And, you know, you haven't really earned any cachet to act this way, in my opinion. I do not think Ja Morant is that great. He's been overblown, overhyped, over-celebrated. This dude does a near-miss dunk, and they celebrate him as if he won an NBA championship. It's an absolute joke, the things he gets celebrated for. No accountability ever thrown at Ja Morant. I never hear anyone talking about Ja Morant. And we mentioned him in the Sunday Live show, and I said, this dude never gets no accountability. He takes no heat. No one's ever talking about this guy. You never turn on ESPN or Fox and see these guys laying into Ja Morant and exposing his career. What has he done in his career? He's done nothing. Nothing, guys. We're going to talk about in this video. Yeah, because, you know, I guess this guy, we're going to talk about this guy in this video. This guy's a fake gangster, man. Fake tough guy. And I want to thank you guys, everyone across the world. Everyone across the states has been supporting my channel. Once again, guys, I am truly, truly humbled, man, by all the support. It really means a lot, guys, for real. Shout out to everybody in the membership. Like I said, all you guys that come through the lives, like I said, donate, comment, email. Thank you, guys, for real. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So, yes, guys, like I said, man, I wanted to do a brief video on Ja Morant. I don't really like Ja Morant. I'll just be honest. I don't really like the dude, man. I've never liked him. Remember, it's not about hating. I don't hate him or anything like that. But I just don't like him. Like, I'm not a fan of Ja Morant. Never was. Like I said, never really liked him. Even in those first couple of years when he was getting all the hype and, you know, he was doing these flashy dunks and, you know, showing some high-flying ability at that size. No doubt about it, man. I was never really a fan of Ja Morant. Never. Not that I didn't like him or anything like that. Just wasn't a fan of him. And just, like I said, there's something about him. I'm telling you guys, I'm really good at reading people, man. And I'm good at noticing these things about people because, once again, I hold myself to a certain standard, to certain values. And I can tell when a professional athlete, right, someone that I'm watching, they don't hold themselves to them same values. They don't believe in those kinds of things like honor, class, integrity, earning respect. Someone like Ja Morant, and once again, remember, I talked about his father in a video, I don't know, a month or so ago, a couple months ago, whatever it was. His father got ejected from a game because he was arguing with the referees. And I told you, he's arguing with the referees, Ja Morant's father, in a game that Ja Morant's team shot like double the amount of free throws of the other team. So I said, what the hell is this guy complaining about? Once again, Ja Morant's dad, one of those fathers where he's living through his kid. He's living through Ja Morant. He really believes he's an NBA basketball player. This guy goes to the games and gold chains, and he's dressed like he's still 25 years old, his father. So we see where he gets it from, this mentality that he has. Fake tough guy, fake thug, fake gangster. And last night, you know, I guess he made a, you know, shooting gesture, a gun shooting gesture towards the Golden State Warriors bench. Now, I looked at the replay. I watched the replay. I mean, listen, this is the world that we're living in now, right? The sensitivities. You must, once again, be aware of these kinds of things. So, Ja Morant, especially someone like Ja Morant, he should know better because, dude, you were literally suspended last season for, you know, playing with guns or allegedly, whatever the case may be. You were suspended last year for like 25 games. You guys remember that. So this is what we talk about on this channel. When I tell you that these guys do not learn from their mistakes, they don't learn. So Ja Morant should be more concerned with playing a whole 82-game schedule this season. Ja Morant should be more concerned about showing up on the court and being prepared on the court, being there physically and mentally than he is about any of this other nonsense. Like I said, they lose to the Golden State Warriors last night, and Ja Morant's doing the gun gesture, I guess, to the Warriors bench. Now, I don't know if there was a back and forth before this or during the game. He was talking to some of the guys on the bench, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the game, towards the end there, he made that gesture. And now I've seen a lot of people talking about this, and you've seen the clip, the video making its rounds. And immediately when I saw that clip, I just started laughing. I started laughing immediately. And I started shaking my head. Because that's all you can do now with a lot of this stuff is we just laugh and shake your head. It's almost like when I read the comments from the LeBron James fans. And even some of you Nicole Jokic fans out there, you guys are getting real close, man. When I read these comments, I just shake my head and laugh. Because all you can do. You're a bunch of weirdos out here. Bunch of clowns, man. A bunch of goofs. And Ja Morant really believes he's a gangster. Really thinks he's a tough guy. And I laugh when you see, professional athletes that play a sport, try to talk or act as if they're gangsters or something like that. Dude, you guys are athletes. And you should be proud of that fact. You guys were blessed and, you guys we're given things, that none of us could even dream about. Like I said, the things that these guys can do on the court or on the field or whatever the case may be, these guys are blessed, man. They're lucky, right? They're allowed to play a sport for their life, for their job, and get paid all of this money, man, right? We all would be blessed and thankful to be a professional athlete or, a musician or a rock star or a famous actor or something like that. So, when you think about someone like Ja Morant, and you think about, like I said, the way that he's gone about his business, and you see him do this, once again, not learning from your mistakes, Ja Morant, how are people supposed to get behind you and support you when you do nonsense like this? And like I was saying, these guys are fake tough guys, fake gangsters. You're a basketball player, dude. You're not an MMA fighter. You're not a boxer. You're not a fighter, man. You guys are not fighters. You guys are basketball players. You're an athlete. And that's what you should be focused on. That's all you should be worried about. You don't have to act tough. You don't got to be tough, because if you really want to show us that you're tough, that you're a tough guy, then you should be there every game. You should be playing 82 games a season. That's how you show me you're tough. That's how you show me you have mental fortitude, pushing through pain, pushing through personal problems. That's toughness. Instead, you got these guys sitting out games with mental rest, with mental fatigue. That's not toughness. That doesn't show me that you're a grown man. You're a true competitor. You're a gangster like that. And I always laugh, man. Everyone's a tough guy with a gun. Everyone's a tough guy with a gun. Guys, I was in the military, and I did 2 deployments. And the job that I had in the Navy, my rate was gunner's mate. That's what I was. I was a gunner's mate. And shout out to everybody in the Navy that knows about the rate gunner's mate. And essentially what I did as a gunner's mate, guys, is I was a weapons expert. That's what my job was, to learn how to take apart guns, learn how to put them together. Whether it was the M60 or the 50 cal, the M9 Beretta, whatever it was, M14 rifle, it didn't matter. The shotgun, it did not matter what it was. We had to know how to take those weapons apart, how to put them together with efficiency, and we also had to be able to instruct and show other sailors on the ship how to fire and handle these weapons. We ran the ranges. Anyone that knows that's in the Navy or was in the Navy knows what I'm talking about. So I'm very familiar with weapons, with guns, with shooting these things. And I feel like what a lot of people don't realize, and what you don't really get from watching a lot of movies, and, sometimes we watch movies and, we think about, or we think things are easier than they are, right? You see an MMA fight, you think you can get in there and do that stuff, but you really can't. You watch a boxing match and you think you can get in there and do that stuff, but you really can't, right? Because they're making it look easier than it is, right? They're making it look not as dangerous as it really is. You can get hurt really bad. You can get killed in there. So when it comes to guns and weapons, I'm very familiar. I'm very, very familiar, and I'm very aware of the safety and the danger that weapons cause, that create. I mean, how many times you guys turn the TV, turn the news? You got school shootings, people getting shot at malls, people getting shot in clubs, people getting shot at the park. I mean, it's insane now. You really don't know when and where these things will happen. And people take it as a joke. They think it's a joke. They don't think guns are that dangerous. And they'll say things like, oh, it's not guns that are dangerous, it's people that are dangerous. I always laugh when I hear that stuff. That's hilarious to me. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. What? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. But let's be real here, though, guys. Right? There are crazy people out there. There are dangerous people out there. And there are people who just don't care. They just don't give a damn. People are desperate. People are hungry. People are starving. Right? People want something from you, they're going to take it. And they'll go about, any way to go about these things. The world could be a dangerous place, guys, a dangerous place. But when we think about something like a weapon, and someone like Ja Morant plays with guns or thinks guns are funny or fun to play with, once again, he only thinks that because he's never had anything happen to him, or he's never been in a scenario where he's seen what guns can do to people, right? He's not responsible enough to understand these things. And like I said, he's not learning from his mistakes. And look at his father. What are you going to learn when your father's that dude, right? A straight clown, not a real grown man. Like I said, the dude still thinks he's 20. His father comes across as the old guy in the club, still thinking he's 20 and stuff, man. I told you, this dude's a weirdo, man. And this is what he raised. He raised a Ja Morant. That's what he raised, a dude like that. So like we say, that's why a lot of these kids today, these weirdos out here, they ain't got no one to show them the way, right? They don't have that in their life. Ja Morant didn't have that. So yeah, he had a father that he knew, but he didn't raise him to be a responsible person or to really be a grown man and understand these things or to learn from your mistakes. We all make mistakes, man, but you got to learn from these things. And that gesture by Ja Morant last night, once again, is a bonehead thing that he does because this Ja Morant, he thinks it's cool to play with guns. These guys don't understand that guns are dangerous, man. These people have no idea what it means to shoot a gun. They don't know. They have no idea what being in a real scenario is with a weapon. So I told you guys, I'm very aware of the danger of weapons. I remember when I worked in the jail and I would bring my gun home sometimes, right? My wife would flip out. She would freak out, man. Oh, please, babe, leave the gun in the car. And, she didn't want me to bring the gun in the house. And this was very rare that I would do this. Every once in a while, I would do it. And I knew she didn't like it. So I remember one time I didn't tell her and I brought the gun in the house. Now, I always kept it unloaded. But for me, I'm a firm believer and I'd rather have something and need it than not have something or, need something and not have it. You guys have probably heard that saying before, right? It's better to have something and not need it than need it and not have it. And to me, when I think about a weapon or a gun, I think about self-preservation, self-protection for your home, your family, whatever the case may be. And, my wife, once again, is against guns in the home, but I've always told her, listen, I'd rather, have a gun and never need it. Never once ever need that weapon. Never take it out, never shoot it. It'd have dust on it for all I care. I'd rather have it and never use it, never need to use it, than need it one day and not have it. So I'm a firm believer in shotguns for home protection, things of that nature. Because like I said, the world is a crazy, dangerous place sometimes. And sometimes danger will come looking for you. You won't have to do anything wrong. You could be minding your business. That's the thing about New York City that I remember growing up in New York City is that in New York City, trouble will just find you sometimes. You don't even want to be looking for nothing. You want to mind your business and someone, somewhere, it'll find you. That's the city, guys. There's a lot of cities out here, a lot of places, man. You guys have seen the subways in New York City? I remember, there's something called street smarts. And this is what you learn, not from a book, right? Not from going to class in school. You learn these things from life experiences, especially depending on where you grow up. So if you grow up in a big city with a lot of people and a lot of things going on, then you're going to have a little bit more street smarts. You might know a little bit more about certain big city scenarios, whereas someone who's from the country, let's say, may not know about those scenarios. They might know about the dangers of bears or, something like that. They might be able to tell you about poison ivy or poison oak and, some of the dangers, the street smarts of that kind of area. But they don't know about the city. So sometimes I turn the news on and you see people getting pushed onto subway trains, right? You see this a lot. If you're from New York City or if you're around the New York City area and you get the news from New York City, you know what I'm talking about. Especially over the last 5 years. It's a nightmare in the subways. To me, when I was a kid growing up, the subways at night were always the scariest place that you could be in New York City to me. I always thought the subway was a terrifying place when I was a kid. But I remember my mother, she would have me and my brothers on the subway sometimes at night. Sometimes we went down to see the tree down at Rockefeller Center or something like that, right? You got to take the subway to do this stuff. And my mother would always tell us, you guys always stand with your back against a wall. And we always did that. So we would be down the subway and my mom would have us against the walls. And I'm talking about, we're little, man. I'm talking about 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. My brothers are like 3. Babies, man. We're down in the subway with my mother. And backs against the wall. Everyone against the wall. They have a yellow line there. I remember there was this thick yellow line, I remember, on the subway platform. And you would always have people standing on that yellow line, which is the edge of the platform. And you're always supposed to stand behind that yellow line, right? But people would toe the line. They would put themselves in jeopardy, right? And not be paying attention. And then you get pushed on the train tracks. So that's why I say these people are lacking street smarts. They're lacking self-awareness. You're in a New York City subway, which, like I said, to me is one of the most dangerous places that you can be in New York City, especially at nighttime. But you're in a New York City subway. You know that people are being pushed onto the subway tracks, or you don't know because you're not paying attention. You're not being street smart. And then you expose yourself by standing on the edge. It's insane to me that people still do this. So once again, guys, there's a tip from Sports and Fitness Rants here. If you ever go to New York City and you're down in the subway, try to avoid it if you can. But if you ever go down there, you make sure you stand with your back against the wall. And when the train arrives, then you come forward and walk onto the subway train. Don't ever stand on the edge, guys. And if you're going to do that, you're going to risk your life, you make sure that your head's on a swivel. Because there are crazy weirdos out there that won't think twice about throwing you on the track, man, and killing you. So now, back to Ja Morant and the things that he's doing that he's not learning from. I'm done with this dude. Now, I wrote some numbers here, guys. This is Ja Morant's career. Ja Morant's career, guys. Now, we all know that Ja Morant, like I said, one of the star players of the NBA. He's one of the young guys, right? He's supposed to be the young talent in the NBA. It's supposed to be guys like Ja Morant, the Zion Williamsons, right? The SGAs, the Jason Tatums, right? These are supposed to be the young guys. Luka Doncic. These are the young, up-and-coming, talented guys. You think about some of these guys, what's that young dude from the Detroit Pistons, man? Cunningham, I think his name is. I can't remember. Maybe I jacked that up, but forgive me. But you know some of the young up-and-coming talent right now in the league. That's supposed to be Ja Morant, but he's not that. He's not that. Like Ben Simmons, right? He's like Ben Simmons, man. Where are these guys? We don't know where these guys are. Joel Embiid, right? Joel Embiid. These are supposed to be the young, talented guys. The guys that were supposed to come up over the last 4 or 5 years. Where are these guys? Ja Morant, never on the court. So Ja Morant, guys, if you don't realize, has played in 303 games in his NBA career of a possible 467 games. So he's missed 164 games in his career, guys. 164 games in his career. Isn't that funny? That's exactly 2 seasons worth. 82 plus 82, 164. Ja Morant has missed 2 full seasons worth of games in his career, guys. He's been in the NBA 5 years. Been in the NBA for 5. This is his 5th season in the NBA, I believe. And has already missed 2 seasons worth of games. That's insane, guys. Insane. The most amount of games that Ja Morant played in a season was 67. That was his rookie year, guys. This man's never played 70 games, not even 70 games in a season. But he's out here doing gun gestures. He's out here being a goof, out here being a clown, not being a leader, not being a grown man. Like, dude, come on, man. You've been in the league 5 years now, and you still doing bonehead stuff? You literally just came back from a suspension last year. And remember, he got suspended last year, right? And then came back, played 9 games, and got hurt again. This dude is soft and frail, man. Look at this dude, but he's a gangster. He's a tough guy, right? He's a tough guy with a gun. That's when he's tough. He ain't tough without the guns. A lot of people are like that. A lot of people are tough when they have a gun on their hip. A lot of these police officers out here, they act a certain way because they got a gun on their hip. They're tough guys with a gun on their hip, right? They don't know how to speak to people. They don't know how to treat people with decency. They want to be fake tough guys, a lot of these police officers. A lot of cops are like that, man. I worked in law enforcement for 15 years, guys. A lot of these guys, they're not good people. They take these jobs because they felt that they were bullied when they were younger. So now they're going to use their stats as a police officer to, once again, do things that they shouldn't be doing, to act a certain way when they wouldn't act that way if they weren't a police officer with a gun in their hip, but they're a tough guy with a gun in their hip. This is why you see people getting shot out here when they shouldn't be getting shot. People are scared. They have a gun. So now all of a sudden you gave a scary person a gun. That's not good. These guys act differently. You know, I got into an argument one time. I told you guys, I work security at a school. We don't carry guns and none of this stuff, man. It's all about being aware, right? It's all about, you know, like I said, trying to prevent things by awareness, through awareness, right? So to catch things, to see things, to be observant. That's what you do with security. Like I said, there's no weapons here for us. But I got into an argument with one of the other security guys one day. And all the guys that I work with are all retired police officers or retired correction officers. That's what we all are like that. So I'm at training one day. This is a couple years ago. I'm at a training class, right? Every year we got to take a training class. So I'm at this training a couple years ago, and an argument breaks out with a couple of guys, right? This ex-correction officer guy and ex-New York City police officer. These guys get into a back and forth argument. And they're talking about how, one guy's arguing that we should be having guns, that we should have guns, and blah, blah, blah. The other guy was saying, what's the difference? Blah, blah, blah. And he brought up the time in Florida when that police officer in Florida, I think it's called Parkland, I think, if I'm wrong, forgive me, and the tragedy over there that happened. And they brought up the police officer from that school. And they talked about how he, was a coward. This guy was saying this guy was scared. He didn't want to do his job. And he was hiding. If you guys remember, that was like a huge thing. The guy was like, I think he was being sued. He might even be being sued. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds here with this stuff, but they were talking about how this guy was scared to do his job, to pretty much risk his own life to protect the kids. And that's pretty much what you're supposed to do. I mean, that's my mentality anyways. If I can, yes, I want to try to protect myself. But at the same time, if I have to sacrifice myself for a child in a school, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to think about it. It's just something I have to do. Once again, that's just what it is. So we understand these kinds of things. Some people don't have that mentality. There are a lot of police officers out there and people who are supposed to be civil servants, who are supposed to serve the community, serve the public, that they put themselves first. They don't put the community first. So that's why I tell you, you'll have people shooting people for no reason because they're too worried about themselves. Instead of taking the responsibility of the job that they took, you have to sacrifice. You might have to sacrifice yourself working that kind of job. But I told the guy when he was going back and forth with the other dude, he said something to me at one point because I chimed in with my 2 cents. And I said to him, he yelled at me. He's like, all right, Robin, so if someone kicks in the door right now with a machine gun, or someone kicks in the door with a gun, he said, you're just going to run at them? You're just going to run right into the bullets? He said to me. I started laughing. I said, no, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, is that tactical? Because that's like a tactical maneuver that anyone with training would do. And I was like, no, I'm trained for these scenarios. And I said to him, I was like, listen, dude, I was in the military. A lot of these guys don't have the training that I got when I was in the military. I was part of the VBSS team, the MEO team, Visit, Board, Search, and Seizure. So the training that I have, once again, would not allow me to do something that's stupid. That's not tactical. So I told him, listen, man, just because I have a gun on my hip or I don't have a gun on my hip, my mindset should never change. I shouldn't become a coward now because I don't have my gun now. Oh my God, I don't have a gun. What am I going to do? I'm going to hide under the table like a coward. My tactics change. That's what changes. So if I don't have a weapon on, I don't have a gun, access to any weapon, and someone kicks in the door with a gun, I'm not going to run into them or run at them like, and try to punch them before they shoot me. That's not tactical. So once again, your tactics change if I don't have a weapon on, right? If I'm not carrying a baton, or you don't have any access to anything that you can get and use as a weapon. Your tactics must change then. If I have a gun on my hip, then my tactics change, but the mindset never changes. I'm not going to be a coward. I'm not going to run and hide and, once again, be a dereliction of my duties. So the mindset doesn't change. The tactics do. A lot of people don't understand this stuff. Sorry, guys. I know I'm rambling right now. So to me, Ja Morant's a joke. You're not a tough guy. You're not a gangster, dude. You want to show us you're a tough guy. You want to show us you're a gangster. Go out there and play all 82 games. Go out there and lead your team like a grown man, like a true professional, man. Stop being a goof. Learn from your mistakes. The Grizzlies fired their coach for whatever the reasons are. I don't know why they fired the coach, the Grizzlies. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. The Grizzlies got rid of their head coach, but you're not going to get rid of Ja Morant? I would have been got rid of this clown. I would have got rid of this dude last year. As soon as he came back from suspension, got hurt again, I'll be like, listen, man, we're done with this guy. This guy don't never play. He's never on the court. What does he do? He gets hyped up for all the athleticism that he has, but there have been other greater athletes that were more successful, that were better. Derrick Rose, give me Derrick Rose all day over Ja Morant. Matt Johnson was a great athlete. Oscar Robertson was a great athlete at the point guard position. Were they not? Jason Kidd was a great athlete at the point guard position. Is he not? So we're talking about, Ja Morant, his jumping ability. That's all he gets hyped up for and celebrated for. Russell Westbrook's a great athlete at the point guard position. Give me Russell Westbrook over Ja Morant. Like I said, a lot of these other guys I mentioned, Ja Morant can't shine their shoes, but he gets hyped up for these potential dunks. And the flash, that's all he is flash, no substance. You guys know that these are the facts, man. He's a dangerous individual. And like I said, he's a clown. He ain't a tough guy. A lot of these guys, they think it's cool to play with guns. It's not, man. Go look and do the research and see how many children die every year from guns not being locked up. Go look into it, guys. Go look. You'll be astounded and shocked how many children die every year from guns, accidental discharges. You guys know these are the facts, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.